DNA leads to an arrest in a 32-year-old cold case in Williamson County. The victims were a 19-year-old Georgetown High School graduate and her friend. Now, these killings became notorious when convicted serial killer Henry Lee Lucas confessed to them in the mid-'80s. Shannon Wolfson is in the studio tonight with new developments in this case.
Leslie, last week a grand jury in Williamson County indicted 51-year-old Benny Tijerina Jr. He'd been in prison on a felony DWI charge when a random DNA search in a nationwide database came back a match.
Inside of a small room tucked in the back of the Georgetown High School library, old yearbooks kept under lock and key hold memories of Rita Salazar, a bright-eyed beauty who loved to dance and sing.
She loved to sing, and she would make all of us in the family stop and listen to her sing.
Rita's younger sister, Ninfa Shepard, was out of town Monday and spoke to us by phone.
She would sing to me at night so that I could fall asleep.
Rita graduated in May of 1978, but 5 months later, she was murdered. Rita and her friend, Frank Kevin Key, ran out of gas along I-35 in Round Rock. Their bodies were discovered more than 50 miles apart, and both of them had been shot.
I have tried to find happiness, and I've tried to live my life as best I can and as best that I could without her.
For her family, the sting of her death never went away because no one was ever arrested for the crimes.
Henry Lee Lucas says he has killed 100 women.
In the 1980s, notorious serial killer Henry Lee Lucas confessed to the killings, but there was no evidence linking him to the crimes. 2 decades after the murders, in 1998, Ninfa Shepard asked investigators to re-examine the clothes her sister was wearing when she was killed to look for DNA.
I think that DNA does eventually solve cases, and it does tell the truth.
But even Shepard was shocked when the DA announced last week that 51-year-old Benny Tijerina Jr., who'd never been linked to the case, was indicted. His DNA a match to evidence at the crime scenes.
I knew it would happen before I died. I knew it would happen. I knew I couldn't leave this world without knowing who did it.
Now, the Williamson County District Attorney's Office is not talking about this case since it still has to go to trial. Tijerina is charged with 2 counts of capital murder. The indictment says he killed Salazar while trying to rape and kidnap her, and that he killed Frank Key during a robbery. We're live in the studio tonight. Shannon Wolfson, KXAN, Austin News.
The son of